I just realized in coming up to my bookshelf here that I've got this big empty gap. I'm going to be lending about 20 books to a friend here about the backcountry and about camping and stuff. But the focus for today is really about debt, how to work with debt, what's going on with debt in the government right now, and what we can do about it. Now I'm not an expert on this. I'm somebody who's fascinated by it, but we have such short memories as human beings. We forget what happened 6 days ago or 6 years ago. People go out and spend. I just heard a story where Europe and in North America, we're giving crazy amounts of money to people in debt. And what are people doing with the debt? People are wasting it. People are consuming. They're buying. I'm hearing about people buying yachts and supercars and other things. And this is not what we should be doing with debt. We should be growing our business. We should be growing our real estate portfolio. That's good debt if it's giving us more than what we owe on this debt. But people have such short memories. This is why I'm voracious about history. I love learning about history to learn. Hey, listen, these things have happened in the past. We're very Buddhist in nature in North America, and that the financial markets and what we do with that is cyclical. We make the same mistakes over and over and over again in so many ways. I was listening to somebody named Lacey Hunt. So this is an expert for 45 years, something maybe over 40 years, maybe over 50 years. He's been making money for investors. He's a really, really well-respected person. I was listening to him speak, and he said there have been four times in U.S. history when national debt has been greater than GDP. In other words, the amount of total debt is greater than the amount of revenue that the U.S. can generate in a year. 4 times. 1870s, 1920s, or after 1920s, just after 2008, and right now. The other thing he said is that there's always been a major recession. Now, 2008 was actually quite a small recession compared to some other recessions, like the 1920s, in how long it took to come out of it, or how long it felt to come out of it. But right now, I was just looking at some stats. The debt is not a little bit higher than GDP. It's not like 101% or 105%. It's something like 130, 140%. It's way larger than GDP right now in the US. And that, to me, it doesn't mean that something is definitely happening or definitely happening tomorrow. But there is a very good chance that there's a recession coming in North America and in Europe and potentially worldwide. If that happens, and this is the point that I'm getting to with all of this, if that happens, what do we do about it? There is a very solid argument. Now, I'm not going to propose this, but there's a very solid argument to buy gold. Gold is something that's international. Everyone on the planet recognizes its value on some level, and it's a hard asset. What that means is that it goes up and down based on what's happening in the currency. So if inflation goes crazy, gold takes care of it. If there's a recession, again, gold still buys you stuff. Even in a recession, it's not ideal, right? But a recession is not ideal for anyone. Especially in an inflationary market where governments are printing a bunch of money, and normal things are worth less than they were before, like stocks and other things. Gold actually looks like it's going up in value. It keeps pace with inflation. So you're not losing money. It's a store of wealth. Now, again, I'm a gold bug. I don't own a bunch of gold. That's not what I'm proposing. Well, actually, what I'm proposing is, and I'm not even telling other people what to do. I'm telling you, for me, this is why I get excited about real estate. Like gold, similar to gold, real estate is a hard asset. It's a store of wealth. You can park money there, and the value of the real estate, if inflation goes up, it's worth the same. It's not less valuable. Now, there's a difference, and if there's a recession in North America, regular homes, residential homes, the single-family homes that you see around you or that you live in, they can go way down in value, way down. But multifamily real estate, this is why I love multifamily real estate, because it's a hard asset. It can keep pace with inflation, similar to gold. But unlike residential real estate, it doesn't fluctuate up and down with these market cycles in extreme ways. It does go up and down a little bit, but the value of multi-residential is based on how much income it brings in, rather than what people are thinking about 3-bedroom, 2-bath places. And what that means is that in a recession where people that are living in mansions are moving down, and the people who are in middle income are moving down, and the people who are low income or maybe own a starter home are selling it and moving down, guess what they do? They rent. And when everyone's moving down, residential, multi-residential real estate actually can go up in value. It can go up in value. You heard me correctly. When there is a recession, because money's coming in. It's a full property. When it's full, it brings in a lot of income, and we do really well. Now, it depends on what's happening with rents. It depends on some other things. But that is so cool. Unlike gold, so gold has an advantage in that it's international in scope. Everyone recognizes it. Multi-residential real estate is located on a specific geographical location, right? So it's not the same in that way. That's a disadvantage, I guess. But an advantage is that you can't rent out gold. You can't borrow money to pay for gold. Gold is something you can't do anything with. You can use it. The greatest use is as a paperweight, right? But it's a store of wealth. With real estate, it's a very large paperweight, but you can rent it. You can make money from it, and a bank will lend you money for you to buy it. And there's something cool about that. We were talking about debt a minute ago. I realize this is a little bit longer than usual. I was talking about debt a little while ago. Debt is actually great when it comes to real estate. Too much debt is not. Okay, you need to make sure that you are cash flow positive. You're bringing in more money every month than what you're paying out in all these other expenses. But if you're doing that, if you're making money every month, then that debt, if there's inflation, it gets eroded. That debt gets eroded. In other words, if you borrow $100,000 today, and that $100,000 only buys you $50,000 worth of stuff in a year, well, it means that you can pay off that $100,000 debt with about $50,000 now. The debt becomes less valuable. In other words, you do really, really, really well in real estate if you've got some debt on a property. That sounds so counterintuitive, but my guess, I'm not guaranteeing anything, okay? I don't know the future. Every crystal ball is broken for everyone. My guess is that in the coming while, there are going to be problems in the economy. There are going to be problems with depreciation of other things in the world, and there's going to be appreciation of other things. My guess is that if you save money, you're going to lose, because money is not going to be as valuable when in an inflationary market. Okay, your money's not going to be as valuable. When my dad was little, he bought a Coke and like a hot dog for like 10 cents or 20 cents, like a small amount, right? You have to spend a lot more money to do it. Money is less valuable than it was in the 1960s. Real estate, if it's debt, if it's real estate, if it's hard assets, then it keeps pace with inflation in a really unique way. Now, I'm not trying to convince you to do this. I'm not trying to convince you to do this. This is why I invest in real estate. And this is why I think someone should think about investing in real estate, because it might be able to do you a lot of good. Now, you've got to decide single family home or multi-residential or commercial real estate or whatever it is, or land banking, whatever the asset classes that you get excited about. But I want you to think about these things, because the more we learn from history and remember history and then move forward in life and think through what are we going to do personally, you got to make your own decisions. But if you go well thought and think through your decisions, it's far, far, far better if you do this research and learn about this yourself than going into it blind. I do not want to go in blind myself. I don't want you to go in blind. Hopefully this is helpful. If you have questions about this or want to challenge something that I've said, feel free to email me back, connect with me. I'd be happy to connect with you and think through this a little bit. Enjoy your week.